Hello, everybody, and welcome to Atheist Sunday School, your one-stop shop for everything Atheist Sunday and school.
And today, our guest is Landon Noll. He is awesome, and I am your president, Lawrence Yufa, and this is just a commoner, Ruben Marshall.
Chairman.
Yeah, I'm the janitor.
Yeah.
And of course, here's Landon Noll.
And good morning, good afternoon, or good evening from your fellow secular astronomer, based upon your time zone and latitude, of course.
Indeed. So, Landon, lots of pictures of Mars coming out lately.
Oh, yes, yes.
Have you got like a favorites list of any of the things?
I mean, I certainly like the one where they're starting to, you know about the Mars Lander Insight, where they're starting to use the robot arm, and it looks like you have these two chafing dishes on top of the rover. Those are the two probes, the atmospheric probe and the seismograph, that they're going to put over the side. And this arm was from another mission that was canceled, and so they repurposed the arm to put those things over the side, and then they'll try to do some digging around as well with the arm once the instruments are in place. But yeah, it's cool stuff, and congratulations to the launch team and the landing team. It was an amazing accomplishment, and we look forward to hearing. And also, of course, this is finally we finally have a good microphone on Mars. I don't know if you heard the sound, but we now have Martian wind.
Oh yeah, I did hear that.
I didn't hear the sound.
And so so it's a sound thing. And you might say, well, but because microphones on Mars have to deal with a very different, much lighter, thinner atmosphere. So that's why it's fun.
All right, so should we get started?
Yeah,
we should.
With the 100-point
at
show.
least on the 100-point wise.
Yes. All right. So, my 100-point show question. What are the 10 plagues of Egypt meant to be a polemic against?
The 10 plagues of Egypt meant to be a polemic against not honoring the God of the Jews, not honoring Yahweh.
No.
Following God's demands because he hardened Pharaoh's heart and caused all of that to happen?
Not even. So,
can I guess?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it you?
Chris is the closest.
Wow!
No,
Holy that's crazy.
The answer is it was a polemic against certain Egyptian gods. Each one of them. Each one of the plagues.
Really?
Yeah, I'm reading a book that kind of just talks about it. The author is, I was suggested, or Chris from Bible History Skeptics suggested that I start reading something by this author. His name is Nahum Sarna, and he's a very mixed bag. He talks as if critical scholarship is like this awful thing and you shouldn't do it, but then he goes off and does it. And
well played,
and
sir.
it's just like, it's really weird. There are so many parts in the book where I'm like, what the fuck? Is this guy like a super fundamentalist or is he not? I can't fucking tell.
He's very hard to label.
Yeah.
Okay. But either way, he's got good information.
He has some good info, yeah. I actually became really curious in what depending on when these things were authored, what things it could possibly be. So I'm actually getting, I actually added some books to the wish list, and they are about the history of the Persian Empire.
Though sorry that this is going to take a little bit because you have I don't know, questions are long. Anyways,
Yeah.
I on that last question that you asked or had proposed, that does make sense that each one would be a slight against the other gods of Egypt, and now it makes more sense to me why certain things were done. Like, I do believe Osiris doesn't have blood anymore, and he's the god of death. So when they did the firstborn thing and putting blood on the doors, it's kind of a slight against Osiris, from what I understand. Does that make sense?
Well,
when they put the sheep's blood on the first ram's sheep?
I'm not sure about that one, but I do know.
That's my guess.
Yeah, and then that motif was kind of used later in the
Yeah.
tradition. But anyways, next 100-point show question.
All
Yes.
right. Eliphas Levi was a French occultist during the 19th century and produced a very famous drawing of a popular demonic entity in Christian mythology. What was that entity?
I'm going to go with Astaroth. Damn.
Beelzebub.
No, it was Baphomet.
Ah.
Okay. You know what? I think Landon was pretty close there.
Closer than you.
Yeah, I know.
They still got the first letter right.
Yeah.
Well, we define the life of a star. Lifespan of a star is how long it shines due to fusion going on in its core. And a star the mass of our sun has a projected lifespan of around 10 billion years. For your 100-point question, what is the projected lifespan of a star that's 100 times the mass of our sun?
Wouldn't it be smaller, I think, because it burns more.
Yeah,
of
bigger stars go quicker.
Yeah. I'm going to go with 2 billion.
Ruben?
What was the original number? 100 billion?
The original number of mass of our star is 10 billion years. What is the projected lifespan of a star 100 times the mass of our sun for 100 points?
I'm going to say that would be 100 million.
I'm going to guess 400 million, because why not?
Well, Ruben, you're the closest. The actual predicted answer is 1 million years.
Wow.
Wow. That's not very long.
Yeah, it's a lot less than...
Wow,
Now, to be true, the supermassive stars they have their own complications as far as how they evolve, and we don't quite know yet, but we believe they're on the order of about 1 million years.
Yeah, I thought it would just be a matter of, moving a zero a couple of points. But I guess I was...
Well, yeah, you got the idea, but it's just you got to move it even further.
Further, yeah.
Wow.
All right. So that was the 100-point show, and now announcements. I do actually want to, Chris, if you want to have my camera on me.
Sure.
Yeah. I do want to take this moment to apologize to everybody, since we have been in school and still doing this show. We have some things in the works. We haven't had regular content as often as we should, so I want to apologize for that. But winter break is coming up, and we are going to make some things and release them over the next few months, and hopefully we can try to stay on top of some things. So I want to apologize for that, but definitely stay tuned for more stuff to come. Some awesome stuff. We got some big projects.
Yeah, we got some crazy shit planned for all you.
Yeah, we do.
We're
crazy
gonna melt
shit.
your fucking brains right out of your skull.
Yeah.
Excellent.
No. Nope.
They don't demonetize when you say fuck.
They do. If you do it enough times, they will. Like if you make a video where you just say the word fuck over and over and over again for 10 hours, like 10 hours of saying the word fuck.
You can't demonetize that. That's a hardcore artistic endeavor. You have to do that for 10 hours.
Yeah, but you'd have to do it not just as a tape loop, but actually express it.
Yeah.
Right? Has anyone bothered to just say it purely on their own, real time for 10 hours?
Maybe. I don't know.
There's got to be someone.
There's got to be somebody.
I mean, artists are crazy. They cut their own ears off and send them to their ex-girlfriends.
As is tradition. So, I think that is the last announcement. But also, remember, we are still on our way to $666 for the demon summoning. Right now we're
Woohoo.
at $246.84. So all donations through Super Chat or Streamlabs, however you want to do it, will go into this fund. And once we hit $6, or sorry, not $6, $666, you get a demon summoning.
Yep.
Do you get demonetized for summoning a demon?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
I get it. Funny. Ha. Anyways.
No, when you do get demon. Oh, hold on, my mic's off. I gotta say that again.
Okay.
You get demonized.
You get demonized. Okay, probably.
Yes.
I mean, everyone. People are just gonna think that we just worship the devil or some shit. But
yeah, I
at
was
this point,
looking
they already think that we do. So it's like whatever.
Well, I was looking at the comments.
DB Cisco.
Oh, thank you, DB Cisco. Praise
Beautiful,
Marduk.
DB. Thank you, DB.
That I was looking at the comments on that Hermes Trismegistus video I made a while back, and man, people really think that we believe in that. I was pretty explicit. I guess they just looked at the title of the video and made a judgment based on that. We should keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's really, oh my god, and we're doing a video on, I've talked about this on some other platforms, but we're doing a video on esoteric Nazism.
Yeah.
And if we post this, I am sure there will be people who think we are now esoteric Nazis.
Oh, there's got to be people who are going to think that, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like we're just talking about it because it's interesting.
Which is why we can't use Nazi in the title.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
also hate to say this, but we may need a disclaimer too. We
Well-
hold none of these opinions. At
Yeah,
the
we
very
should-
beginning of the video, a black card with white text. We might actually have to start doing that for some of these
Yeah.
more controversial topics.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, you could say you title it as stuff we do not agree with.
Yeah, but I sent you one possible name. A couple of possible names.
Yeah, we can talk about
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Anyways, why don't we get started reading the Bible?
Yes.
I've got the King James Version.
I have the English Standard Version.
And I have the New American Standard Bible.
Ooh,
Ooh,
very nice.
America. Okay.
Now, last time we finished off 1 Samuel, and now we're going into 2 Samuel.
Yes, and this is a continuation. It goes on. Like the narrative didn't end.
Right.
It's still kind of going through, and obviously, since it's another book, we have there are two different things going on around this point in the narrative. Mm-hmm. There's the story of David's rise, and then later there's going to be the court history. And the difficult part is figuring out where one starts, and we're going to get into that a little bit today.
So the book of Samuel wasn't always divided amongst some some texts, right? Is this first Samuel, 2 Samuel? Is that a recent thing, or has it always been two books?
Well, originally they were probably written together on a scroll and then later divided. And the way that I'm not sure how they name these specifically, but I know that for stuff like for the Torah books, they name them on based off of one of the words in the introductory sentence, like Exodus. Let me see if I can find it. The Hebrew for Exodus, I forget what it is, but it was the Hebrew for, I forget, what was it? The Hebrew for names or something like that. I fucking forget, but they named it off of one of the very first words. Yeah, Jonah's right. Shemot. Yeah, it has another name on top of it, preceding it. I think.
Well, before we get started, I just want to state a notion of curiosity. I'm wondering why it's still called Samuel. Samuel has been dead for a while now.
Yeah. Well, I don't fucking know.
Now, hopefully we'll find out today.
Yeah, we'll try.
And isn't there some Bibles where it's just the book of Samuel and there's no 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel?
Yeah, and then sometimes they I know commentaries usually put them together also, because it just does kind of go through. Like there's no real break in the story. It's just like about something else now. And also, before I forget, we have the Old Testament survey right there, the New Interpreter's Bible. We have the Oxford Companion to the Bible, and I brought something special. I forgot that I had this, honestly.
Oh.
This is called Unfolding the Deuteronomistic History. Chris, if you want to have this on my camera, thanks. Yeah. So this is a commentary. Well, it's not really even a commentary. In here, there is the actual text, but then they kind of mark it by, either bolding or italicizing some things, putting some marker to divide the narrative into like pre-exilic or exilic or post-exilic. And this isn't, like some of this stuff is more debatable than other stuff, and scholars argue about it all the time. But I think there's a lot of really good information in here, and I think it will be very useful.
Well, that's dandy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have that now.
All right, and let's.
Yeah, and remember, I got an intro because new book, so I have a little introduction.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and give us that introduction? to
Certainly.
2 Samuel.
In the beginning of Samuel 2.
2 Samuel recounts David's reign as king of Israel. As promised to Abraham, during David's reign, Israel's borders were extended roughly from Egypt to the Euphrates. While David had many successes, and by the way, it probably wasn't that big. There's a very small chance that it was that huge. While David had many successes, after his sin against Bathsheba and Uriah, which is apparently in chapter 11, that we will get to at some point, both his kingdom and his own family fell into chaos. His son Absalom led a bloody rebellion against him. Nevertheless, David, author of many of the Psalms, was, and we don't actually know that, they're attributed to David. We don't know if he actually did or not.
Yeah.
Maybe he, had a scribe write them down, something like that. I'm sure some of them go back to David. Some of them actually...
About a third of them are supposed to be attributed to David.
I'm not sure about the percentage. There are some whose tradition goes back to Ugarit, actually. So there are some very, very ancient ones, or at least like rewritings of them.
Well, like Psalms is basically like a spell book. It's interesting. They have specific psalms for specific, like, magical divine intentions.
Yeah.
And that'll be fun to cover.
Yeah, it will be. But we're not singing it.
What?
We're not going to sing it.
We're not gonna.
No.
How would you even go about singing the psalms?
Poorly.
It doesn't give you the musical notation, like this one at random.
You just have to guess.
Musical notation sold separately. Batteries not included.
All right. Well, let's finish up this introduction. Nevertheless, David, author of many of the Psalms, was a man after God's own heart, a model of deep, heartfelt prayer and repentance. The Davidic covenant of chapter 7, and I'm going to actually have a lot on that next week. The Davidic covenant of chapter 7 establishes the eternal rule of David's line, with its ultimate fulfillment in the coming of Jesus Christ. The author of 2 Samuel is unknown.
But it wasn't Samuel.
No, because he was a
He's
fucking
dead.
ghost. Unless you want to say a ghost wrote it, which, you know what?
Is Ghost Samuel
Ghostwriters.
going to keep showing up like Obi-Wan?
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out.
Guys, he's the original ghostwriter. Landon got a good joke there.
Okay, well, thanks James Staples V for suggesting using the German word Fick instead
Or
of
we can use Yoop, which is...
Yoop?
Yeah.
Suka.
Yeah. Then yeah, that's the Russian
We should
word.
get EA Co-Editing to do the summoning. Yeah, Holy shit. I would love to get EA co-editing on this channel. That guy literally sold snake oil for like $1,000 a bottle. He called it like serpent's oil. And it was a magic
Literally
oil.
snake oil.
that
I'm
you
sorry. He
anoint
still
yourself
sold
with.
snake oil for ridiculous prices in today's era?
Yeah, he got away with it too. He has like thousands of people who will buy all of the ridiculous shit that he makes. And he's not even a well-studied occultist either. He's just like some guy who pretends to get possessed by demons in the desert with bad audio quality.
Yeah, as is tradition. Okay, so let's get started with our Bible reading. We
All
are
right.
we are now getting into 2 Samuel chapter 1.
2 Samuel chapter 1. I'll start us off. Now it came to
Chapter
pass after the death of Saul, when David was returned from the slaughter of the Amalekites, and David had abode 2 days in Ziklag. It came to pass on the 3rd day that, behold!
Behold.
A man came out of the camp from Saul with his clothes rent and earth upon his head. So it was when he came to David that he fell to the earth and did obeisance. And David said to him, From whence comest thou? And he said to him, Out of the camp of Israel am I escaped. And David said unto him, How went the matter, I pray thee, tell me. And he answered, That the people are fled from the battle, and many of the people are fallen and dead. And Saul and Jonathan, his sons, are dead also. And David said unto the young man that told him, How knowest thou that Saul and Jonathan his son be dead? And the young man that told him said, As I happened by chance upon Mount Gilboa, behold!
Behold!
Behold.
Saul leaned upon his spear, and lo, the chariots and horsemen followed hard after him. And he looked behind him. When he looked behind him, he saw me and called to me, and I answered, Here am I. And he said unto me, Who art thou? And I answered him, I am an Amalekite. And he said to me again, Stand, I pray thee, upon me, and slay me. For anguish is come upon me, because my life is yet whole in me. So I stood on him, and slew him, because I was sure that he could not live after that he was fallen. And I took the crown that was on his head and the bracelet that was on his arm, and have brought them hither unto my lord. Well, that's interesting.
Well, what's really interesting is how this dude isn't even mentioned before. Like I'm looking,
Yeah, because this just differs from the previous.
this is just kind of adding to the narrative. Well, I think that this is all kind of going together, and I'm not 100% sure why this random character appears. But
Because now he's an Amalekite,
yeah,
and he's responsible for slaying Saul.
no, Saul killed himself.
Oh, no, Saul didn't kill himself. It just established that Saul...
Oh yeah, that's right. He died by the there are 2 different accounts.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in the first one, Saul
forgot about
falls
that.
on his spear and dies.
Yeah.
And in this one, Saul was just kind of stuck on there, and he needed this Amalekite to like jump on him to finish the job.
Yeah. That's always a very weird one. That
Yes,
I forgot about.
because
it,
1
just now.
Samuel chapter 31, verse 4 says, So Saul took his sword and fell on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a spear, so it's a different weapon too.
Well, sure. I'm not sure how the translation
Hey guys,
works
that
out.
story I told in the last chapter, just let me redact that a little. I missed some parts. It wasn't a sword, it was a spear, and he wasn't really dead. He was just close to dead. See, man, I'm so glad I had this opportunity to restate it in the second book,
Yeah.
because I'm
Well,
dumb. I'm a bad author.
And also the tearing a piece of clothing is something that's done in Jewish funeral services. So I think that's why it says his clothes were rent earlier.
Okay.
Yeah. So 2 Samuel, chapter 1, verse 10, certainly differs in the Saul's death from 1 Samuel chapter 31, verse 4.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a nifty little contradiction. Yeah. Let's continue. Good old Bible stuff.
Then David took hold on his clothes and rent them, and likewise all the men that were with him. And they mourned and wept and fasted until even for Saul and for Jonathan his son, and for the people of the Lord and for the house of Israel, because they were fallen by the sword. And David said unto the young man that told him, Whence art thou? And he answered, I am the son of a stranger, an Amalekite. And David said unto him, How wast thou not afraid to stretch forth thine hand to destroy the Lord's anointed?
Wait, hold on. Didn't this guy already say he was an Amalekite?
Yeah.
All right then. That just seemed unnecessary.
Yeah. And David called one of the young men and said, Go near and fall upon him. And he smote him that he died. So the Amalekite's dead. And David said unto him, Thy blood be upon thy head, for thy mouth hath tested against thee, saying, I have slain the Lord's anointed. And David lamented with his lamentation over Saul and over Jonathan his son. Also, he bade them teach the children of Judah the use of the bow. Behold,
Behold!
it is written in the book of Joshua. What is the book of Joshua? Have we referenced this before?
I think we have, yeah. Yeah.
Definitely, we've seen it at least 3 times before this.
Before this, I think it would be 3 times including this. Well, either way.
Maybe including this.
Yeah, but we have seen references to the book of Joshua before.
And it doesn't exist as far as we know.
It is.
Yeah,
No,
but here's the interesting thing. When he says, which verse has the bow in it for you?
18.
18. Yeah. So this is something interesting. Mine says, and he said it should be taught to the people of Judah. Behold, it is written in the book of Joshua. And obviously yours includes a bow, right?
It says he bade them teach the children of Judah the use of the bow. Behold.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that in the Septuagint, the Greek translation, it includes the bow. That probably is not original. Now, the bow, because as we have learned from before, was associated with David, right? Or Jonathan? It was associated with one of them.
Yes, but David was a sling user and a swordsman. I mean,
No, when we were just introduced to David, there are things that are listed off that are like associated with him. Like he was a good archer, right? Mm-hmm. That was one of the things. He was playing the lyre, stuff like that. So that only exists in the Greek text, the use of the bow. The Hebrew does not have it. So that is an interesting thing.
Now, I also want to complain about the fact that David thought to murder this person who came with the news, even though I guess in 1 Samuel it was Saul that killed himself, and this guy just brought the news versus this guy who said, I guess technically you say, well, Saul asked a bunch of people to kill him, and he eventually had to kill himself according to 1 Samuel. But 2 Samuel, David murders this person, right? Just for stretching out and striking the Lord's anointed, even though wasn't David actually anointed as well? So
yeah. But so
I think there could be more than one anointed person for sure.
Well, because of the way that the kingdoms were set up, yeah, like you could be anointed over Israel or Judah.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna get into that actually.
I had something I wanted to say. Shoot, what were we talking about?
let's just keep going.
The beauty of Israel is slain upon thy high places. How are the mighty fallen? Tell it not in Gath. Publish it not in the streets of Ascalon. Must have been a popular literary area, I guess. Lest the daughters of the Philistines rejoice, lest the daughters of the uncircumcised triumph. Ye mountains of Gilboa, let there be no dew, neither let there be rain upon you, nor fields of offerings, for the shield of the mighty is vilely cast away, the shield of Saul, as though he had not been anointed with oil. From the blood of the slain, from the fat of the mighty, the bow of Jonathan turned not back, and the sword of Saul returned not empty. Saul and Jonathan were lovely and pleasant in their eyes, and in their death they were not divided. They were swifter than eagles. They were stronger than lions. Ye daughters of Israel, weep over Saul, who clothed you in scarlet with other delights, who put on ornaments of gold upon your apparel. How are the mighty fallen in the midst of the battle? O Jonathan, thou wast slain in thine high places. I am distressed for thee, my brother Jonathan. Very pleasant hast thou been unto me. Thy love to me was wonderful, passing the love of woman. How are the mighty fallen, and the weapons of war perished?
Well, I think this confirms, like, obviously, like,
There are
you know,
very strong homosexual overtones
Yeah.
between David and Jonathan.
exactly, which is cool and all, but, like, it's just really curious how you can tell in this lamentation that he obviously cares for both Saul, even though Saul tried to kill him on multiple occasions, and Jonathan, but he's giving so much more love to Jonathan.
Yeah.
Because Saul was like, yeah, he, ruled for a while and he helped you out and stuff. But Jonathan, my love.
Yeah. Now, is this made as a poem in yours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's written as a poem.
Yeah.
It's not in this one, but what I gather is that this is essentially David's, eulogy
Yeah.
that he gives.
Yeah.
Well,
for Saul.
it in my Bible, the section is David's dirge for Saul and Jonathan.
Oh, now that makes sense. It doesn't reference it in here. Anyways, that's the end of that chapter. Hey, if you're enjoying the stream, give us a like. Every like helps us out, and share it around or something if you want. Now,
Give it that old thumbs up, if you please.
Yeah. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. So we can just hop into chapter 2 then.
Yep, and take it away, Lawrence.
Fantastic. I am so excited. After this, David inquired of the Lord, "Shall I go up into any of the cities of Judah?" And the Lord said to him, "Go up." David said, "To which shall I go up?" And he said, "To Hebron." So going up usually means going to war. And what's interesting is I was reading about this earlier. So David inquires of the Lord a lot, right?
Yeah.
And to him, God always responds. But when Saul inquired of the Lord once, God didn't respond. And this can obviously be attributed to the fact that God is always with David, and that in the previous book we were reading about how David is fighting the wars of Yahweh. So you can clearly see that God loves David more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they say that Saul killed his thousands, but David
His tens of thousands. Yeah. So David went up there, and his 2 wives also, Ahinoam of Jezreel and Abigail, the widow of Nabal of Carmel. And David brought up his men who were with him, every one with his household, and they lived in the towns of Hebron. So they just fucking up and moved everybody? All right.
Yep.
And the men of Judah came, and there they anointed David king over the house of Judah. And Judah, if someone doesn't remember, is the southern kingdom. Okay. The way I like to remember it is if you draw a big I, you can draw like a J under it, and then it still just looks like a big J. I don't know. That's just how I remember. But crazy
the I's
mind.
on the top, the dot on the top, and the J's. Oh, yeah.
So, anyways, where the fuck was I? Okay, anointed king over the house of Judah. When they told David, it was the men of Jabesh Gilead who buried Saul, David sent messengers to the men of Jabesh Gilead and said to them, "May you be blessed by the Lord because you showed this loyalty to Saul your Lord and buried him. Now may the Lord show steadfast love and faithfulness to you, and I will do good to you because you have done this thing. Now therefore let your hands be strong and be valiant, for Saul your Lord is dead, and the house of Judah has anointed me king over them." Now, interesting part here. So here these messengers come up and tell him that these guys buried Saul.
He doesn't kill those.
He doesn't kill those messengers. He kills the other messenger.
Yeah.
Because fuck that other messenger.
Well, there's two of these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I remember now that the stereotype of the bearer of bad news getting killed had not yet been established yet. This is the first time that it's been established, I think. How often does a guy in the Bible so far just come up and bear bad news and then get killed? It comes up
the
again.
commandment, thou shalt not kill except if you have bad news.
Yeah.
It's negotiable.
Yeah.
Look, as long as you kick him down a bottomless pit while yelling about Sparta, it's fair game.
All right, let's continue. But Abner, the son of Ner, commander of Saul's army, took Ish-Bosheth. I kept fucking this name up.
Ish-Bosheth.
Ish-Bosheth, the son of Saul, and brought him over to Mahanaim. And he made him king over Gilead and the Asherites, and Jezreel, and Ephraim, and Benjamin, and all Israel. Ooh, so he's in competition now with David.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. We got some drama coming up. Oh my fucking god. Ish-Bosheth. I gotta learn how to say this.
Ish-Bosheth.
Ish-Bosheth, Saul's son, was 40 years old when he began to reign over Israel, and he reigned 2 years.
2 years.
But the house of Judah followed David. And
Kind of like Trump. Reigned 2 years.
2 years. And the time that David was king in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months. Okay. Well, I don't actually know if it's, I doubt that's its whole reign, but probably before the United Monarchy, which we'll get into. Abner, the son of Ner, and the servants of Ish-Bosheth, the son of Saul, sent out from Mahanaim to Gibeon, and Joab, the son of Zeruiah, and the servants. I know, it's fucking awful. Zeruiah and the servants of David went out and met them at the pool of Gibeon, and they sat down, the one on the one side of the pool and the other on the other side of the pool. And Abner said to Joab, "Let the young men arise and compete before us." And Joab said, "Let them arise." Okay, so compete before us. Sounds like some Hunger Games shit is about to pop up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then they arose and passed over by number, 12 for Benjamin and Ish-Bosheth, the son of Saul, and 12 of the servants of David. and each caught his opponent by the head and thrust his sword in his opponent's side. So they fell down together. All of them? Did they all just kill each other for no reason?
Yeah, group suicide, stab the guy to your left.
Yeah,
Yes.
like if they're like in a big circle or something, they're just like, all right, everybody, and stab. Oh, my God. Okay, that seems completely pointless.
Or very sharp.
Yeah. So they fell down together. Therefore, that place was called Helkath Hazurim. And apparently that means the field of sword edges.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did they just
Yeah.
name a place Field of Sword Edges? And we're like, okay, now we have to come up with a story as to why it's named this.
You know,
Ridiculous.
The only
Good
reason this
excuses, isn't
story
it?
exists is because some kid was like, why is this place called the Field of Sword Edges?
Which is at Gibeon. And the battle was very fierce that day. It doesn't sound fierce, it just sounds bloody.
Mine says it was sore, and I agree.
And Abner and the men of Israel were beaten before the servants of David.
How? It just said that everybody died.
Just some other servants, I don't fucking know. And the 3 sons of Zeruiah were there, Joab, Abishai, and Asael. Now Asael was as swift of foot as a wild gazelle, and Asael pursued Abner, and as he went, he turned neither to the right nor to the left from following Abner. Then Abner looked behind him and said, "Is it you, Asael?" And he answered, "It is I." Abner said to him, "Turn aside to your right hand or to your left, and seize one of the young men and take his spoil." Like, don't get me, get that other guy. But
No, mine says, lay thee hold on one of the young men and take thee his armor.
ooh, okay. But Asael would not turn aside from following him. And Abner said again to Asael, "Turn aside from following me. Why should I strike you to the ground? How then could I lift up my face to your brother Joab?" But he refused to turn aside. Therefore Abner struck him in the stomach with the butt of his spear, so that the spear came out at his back. Wait, with the butt of it? So not with the sharp end?
Mine doesn't say.
Yeah, it says struck him in the belly with the butt end of the spear.
Yeah,
Mine calls it the hinder end of the spear.
yeah, it's the back end. So
You know, they did have sharp edge back handles.
sharp back edge. Okay.
It's not uncommon
Yeah.
to have a butt of a weapon or a hilt have a spike.
All right then. Anyways,
A spear with 2 spikes is kind of dumb. I'll admit
so
that.
he just killed Asael.
Well,
Sounds like what
he shoved this
self-defense.
fucking spear through him, man.
Yeah, I know. And he fell there and died where he was, and all who came to the place where Asael had fallen and died stood still. It's like that Pikachu meme.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so this random Abner character just sounds like, the random villain for David
Yeah.
and
David
and
needs
Judah.
to defeat this evil villain in the sequel.
But Joab and Abishai pursued Abner. Okay, so they're next. And as the sun was going down, they came to the hill of Ammah, which lies before Giah, on the way to the wilderness of Gibeon. And the people of Benjamin gathered themselves together behind Abner and became one group and took their stand on the top of the hill. Then Abner called to Joab, "Shall the sword devour forever? Do you know that the end will be bitter? How long will it be before you tell your people to turn from the pursuit of their brothers?" So it seems like,
Thanks, DB Cisco, by the way.
yes,
Thanks,
thank
Steve
you.
Cisco.
Thank you, DB Cisco, for the 666.
Merry
Thank you very much. Yes.
And it seems to me that Abner wants to unite Abner doesn't want there to be fighting, but apparently there is for some fucking reason.
Yep. Well, because he
He was just
people
fucking
getting-
king of Israel, and king of Judah, David didn't like that, I guess. So they had some people fight each other, and they all died, and then they chased down Abner. This all seems very unnecessary.
Yeah.
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 And Joab said, "As God lives, if you had not spoken, surely the men would not have given up the pursuit of their brothers until the morning." So Joab blew the trumpet, and all the men stopped and pursued Israel no more, nor did they fight anymore. Okay. So now they gave up on it. Now they're no longer doing this.
Well,
All right.
He successfully convinced them with like a couple sentences.
Yeah.
Yep. After
Okay.
all that traveling
And killing a guy.
Yeah.
Well, he has 300 in speech.
Okay. And Abner and his men went all that night through the Arabah. They crossed the Jordan, and marching the whole morning, they came to Mahanaim. Joab returned from the pursuit of Abner, and when he had gathered all the people together, there were missing from David's servants 19 men besides Asael. But the servants of David had struck down of Benjamin 360 of Abner's men. Okay, so while this fight was going on, there was another fight going on, apparently, where 360 of Abner's men died.
This is very poorly written.
Yeah, it really is. And they took up Asael and buried him in the tomb of his father, which was at Bethlehem. And Joab and his men marched all night, and the day broke upon them at Hebron.
And that's the end of chapter 2, huh?
I guess, yeah, that's the end of chapter 2.
What a strange chapter.
What? Yeah, that was a weird chapter. David
Weird.
becomes king, and then of Judah, and then the king of Israel is like just there, and David doesn't like him, so they have guys fight, and then they all kill each other, and then the men of Judah pursue the men of Israel, and then they stop, and then once Ish-Bosheth escapes, I guess he finds out that his men were fucking dead because there was a whole nother thing going on. Ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it's one of those hashtag blame the Bible.
Yeah,
Yep.
hashtag blame the Bible.
Hashtag blame the Bible. With that being said, Landon, it looks like you're getting the longest
Yeah.
chapter today.
Okay.
Oh shit, yeah, he is.
Oh.
And remember, if you're enjoying the stream, drop a like. It really helps us. Make sure you share it around. We want some people in here. That'd be kind of cool.
Your friends.
Click those
family,
like
neighbors.
buttons and share buttons and
Yeah.
subscribe buttons and notification buttons. If you
All
please.
all that good stuff.
If you're convinced that the voices you hear are real, tell them to share it.
Yes. So,
So-
I guess I'm gonna go get another drink. Yeah, let's just jump right
Okay.
into
All right.
chapter 3.
Chapter 3. Now there was a long war between the house of Saul and the house of David, and David grew steadily stronger, but the house of Saul grew weaker continually. Sons were born to David at Hebron. His firstborn was Amnon by Ahinoam the Jezebitess. I guess she's from the Jezebel area.
It says Jezreel.
And the second, Sheila by Abigail, the widow of Nabal, the Carmelite. And third, Absalom, son of Maacah, the daughter of Tamil, king of Geshur. And the fourth, wow, lots of kids. Let's see. I'm going to butcher this word. Adonijah, the Haggith, and the fifth, it'll be Shephatah, the son of
These are some terrible
Abatiel.
names.
And the sixth, Ithurim, by David, wife of Elgal. These were born to David at Hebron. So, how many wives did he have?
2, I think. Didn't he have 2 wives?
Well, one of them is off with someone else because she got given to someone.
No, that was yet another one.
Oh yeah, so David has 3 wives.
Well, see, there's the firstborn by one person, secondborn by another person, third by a third, fourth by fifth, sixth. So I'm seeing, are there 6 wives here?
Yeah, I guess, but they didn't bring any of them up before.
No, they didn't. They're just kind of there.
So yeah, I guess, yeah, all right, because basically they went through each one of his kids.
Yeah, but we don't know that they're wives. It doesn't say
had their own wives, right? So there's 6 wives. Okay.
Does it say that they're wives? I don't think it says that they're wives. They're just...
Eglah, David's wife.
Sons were born to David at Hebron. The firstborn by blah 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 by so and so. The secondborn by so and so. The thirdborn by so and so.
Yeah. No,
fourth, fifth, sixth. So there's 6 wives.
That, but that doesn't mean that they're his wives.
So,
2 of them are his wives.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So
Abigail's
he had sex with
wife.
6 women.
Yeah. Abigail and Abinoam, or Ahinoam, are his wives.
And Eglah.
Did it say Eglah?
Verse 5.
Oh yeah, David's wife. Yeah. Okay, so.
Well, Rachel, we're on chapter 3 right now, so in case you want to know what you've missed so far,
yeah.
lots of stabbies and people murdering each other and that sort of thing. So now we have David has all these ladies where all these kids are born of him, and it came about. There was a war between the house of Saul and the house of David. That Abner was making himself strong in the house of Saul. Now Saul had a concubine whose name was Raspah, the daughter of Ajah, and Ish-Bosheth said to Abner, "Why have you gone into my father's concubine?" And Abner was very angry with these words that Ish-Bosheth said, and said, "Am I a dog's head that belongs to Judah? Today."
And remember, at this point, dog was another word for male prostitute.
Huh.
So let's just keep that in mind.
Oh, okay. So, am I a dog's head that belongs to Judah? Today I show kindness to the house of Saul your father, to his brothers and to his friends, and have not delivered you into the hands of David. And yet today you charge me with a guilt concerning the woman. May God do so to Abner, and more also, if the Lord has sworn to David, I do not accomplish this for him, to transfer the kingdom from the house of Saul, to establish the throne of David over Israel and over Judah, from Dan even to Beersheba. And he could no longer answer Abner's word because he was afraid of him.
Wow, if only that could happen more often in this book.
Wow.
You know, not only, Landon, do you have the longest chapter, but you also have the worst chapter filled with a bunch of names. And the thing is, according to this book that I have right here, Unfolding the Deuteronomistic History, that section with the wives and stuff was initially, apparently it was pre-Deuteronomistic history, and it may have come from like a book of generations, something like that, because we have a lot of generations in the Bible. Lot of those genealogies.
Well, we haven't run into that boring shit for a little while.
It's been a while, so I guess we kind of had it coming. But there's a reason why scholars think that it was initially part of this other book that they had.
Yeah.
Like
This other book is a plague on our minds,
because
knowing that it'll come up again and again and
yeah, yeah. And the thing is, it was referenced in Genesis as the book of the generations of Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it may have come from that. And I have a little note here about those sons, you know?
Oh.
Yeah. This list of the sons born to David at Hebron is regarded by Noth, and Noth is Martin Noth. He was like one of the founding fathers of critical biblical scholarship, as prior to the Deuteronomistic history, as is the parallel list for Jerusalem in 2 Samuel chapter 5. Precise attribution remains uncertain, as Noth writes, probably, in quotes, not part of the original tradition, but surely prior to Deuteronomy, or to the Deuteronomist.
Yes.
So, yeah. Came in later as a note there. So, anyways, sorry. Let's
All right.
Let's go on.
It's great.
Very good. So, verse 12. Then Abner sent messages to David in his place, saying, Who is the land? Whose is the land? Make your covenant with me, and behold,
Behold!
my hand shall be with you to bring all Israel over to you. And he said, Good, I will make a covenant with you, but I demand one thing of you, namely, you shall not see my face unless you first bring Michal, Saul's daughter, Saul's daughter, when you come to see me.
And remember, this is the one that David didn't want, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was the one that he just, like, gave back. He's like, sorry, this one's used up. Take her.
I guess.
So David sent messengers to Ish-Bosheth, Saul's son, saying, Give me my wife Michal, to whom I was betrothed, for 100 foreskins of the Philistines.
Bullshit. He collected 200 of them.
No, but that's the price that he's going to pay.
Yeah.
That's the price he paid.
That's right. 'Cause
Sorry.
remember, he basically, cut penises of a bunch of Philistines and laid them in a heap, and then Saul said, "That's impressive. Have my daughter." I think wasn't that what happened?
Around there, yeah. He paid the bridal price of 100 foreskins. Ridiculous, man.
Well, he actually collected 200 in the story.
Yeah.
He was supposed to collect 100. So is that just an inconsistency?
Well, he was required of 100, and he went and did 100 plus of some bonus foreskins, I guess. Whatever. Okay. Anyway, and Israel sent word to look for her from her husband. Wait. And Ish-Bosheth sent and took her from her husband, from Betel, the son of Laish. So she's already, I guess, married to somebody else.
Yeah.
But her husband went with her, weeping as he went, and followed her as far as Bahurim. And Abner said to him, Go, return. So he returned.
Wow, okay, so this guy is like in tears, following this person that just took his wife, and then the dude that took her is like, go home. And he's like, oh, okay.
Yep.
That's what just fucking happened. Because, plot.
Well,
I guess so. And so Abner had a consultation with the elders of Israel, saying, In the times past, you were seeking for David to be king over you. Now then, do it. For the Lord has spoken of David, saying, By the hand of my servant David, I will save my people Israel from the hand of the Philistines and from the hand of all their enemies.
All right, hold on, Landon. So we got some people in the chat. Someone says, does anyone have R and Raw on speed dial? I do.
Yeah?
Yeah, hold on. Well, I don't know. People think it would be nice to have him in here. I don't know. Should we try to get him in here for the final chapter?
No.
No? We can make that happen. We can make Aaron come in here. I don't know if he's available or not, but I can call him and see.
Are you saying there's a summoning spell for Arn?
Yeah, there is a summoning spell.
Yeah, we had to sacrifice a goat.
It's a series of precise digits, 9 of them in a very specific order.
Let's see if he answers.
Use your mystic tablet to contact him.
I wonder if
And Abner also spoke in hearing of Benjamin, and in addition, Abner went and to speak in the hearing of David in Hebron all that seemed good to Israel, and to and to the whole house of Benjamin. Then Abner and 20 men came to David at Hebron, and David made a feast for Abner and the men who were with him. And Abner said to David, "Let me arise and go, and gather all Israel to my lord, to the king, that they may make a covenant with you, and that you may be king over all that your soul desires." So David sent Abner away, and he went in peace.
Nice.
Very nice. That's probably not going to last. Also, I don't really have connection down here, so I can't call him. It keeps saying not on a registered network.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is like a bunker.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Bummer.
So we
Sorry,
have
guys.
a new paragraph.
Yeah.
So basically they went and grabbed this guy's wife and brought him to David, even though she was already married. I guess that's also okay. And then they had this feast for him. And okay, verse 22. And behold, the servants of David and Joab came from a raid and brought much spoil with them. But Abner was not with the house of David in Hebron, for he had sent him away and had gone in peace. When Joab and all the army that was with him arrived, they said to Joab, saying, "Abner, son of Ner, came to the king, and he was sent away, and he has gone in peace." Then Joab came to the king and said, "What have you done? Behold,
Behold.
Abner came to you. Why have you sent him away, and he has already gone? You know that Abner, son of Ner, that he came to deceive you and to learn of your going out and coming in, and find all that you are doing." Then Joab came out from David and he sent messengers after Abner, and they brought him back to the well of Shirah, and David did not know it. So when Abner returned to Hebron, Joab took him aside in the middle of the gate to speak to him privately, and there he struck him in the belly, so that he died on account of the blood of Ashel, his brother.
Yeah, so he's all mad, and he just kills this dude.
In this one, it says that he stabbed him in under the 5th rib.
It's still around the stomach area.
It's more specific.
Well,
it's very specific.
It's a callback to the previous one, chapter 2, verse 23. The King James Version says, "Wherefore Abner with the hinder end of that spear smote him under the 5th rib."
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. That's
Yeah.
much more
Yeah.
specific. I'd love to... Hold up. I gotta be checking some shit here.
So is this it that the King James is more specific, or what's
Well, it's more
what does the Hebrew
poetic.
have?
They're getting revenge for this guy killing their brother by killing him in the same way that he killed his brother. But you wouldn't know that based off of the other translation.
You think that was added to be poetic or to draw the connection?
or to make an excuse?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Lawrence?
I mean, it's definitely a poetic kind of thing. We do see so many things, again and again. And when it comes to because these stories are intertwined. They're not separate stories. This is like a I mean, yeah, it's just a regular, good old, classic revenge story here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was just a literary tool.
So, chapter 3, verse 28. And after, when David heard it, he said, I and my kingdom are innocent before the Lord forever of the blood of Abner the son of Ner. May it fall upon the head of Joab and on his father's house, and may it there not fall from the house of Joab one who has a discharge, or is a leper, or who takes hold of a distaff, or who falls by the sword, or who lacks a beard. What?
Mine says lacks bread.
I'm sorry. You're right. It's bread.
Yeah.
Lacks bread. Okay. Sorry. Okay.
I would
So,
love the lax of beard.
Let me I butchered that thing. Let me read that verse 29 again. So may it fall upon the head of Joab and on all of his father's house. So all his father's house and all his kids and servants and so forth. And may it there not fall from the house of Joab one who has a discharge, I guess who's sick, or who is a leper, or who takes hold of distaff. What is that?
I have a spindle.
The distaff.
I have spindle for that.
Or who falls by the sword, or who lacks bread. What in the world is
So someone who isn't rich or dies in battle, or, and I'm confused.
He's just wishing him well. He's saying, for anyone who is a member of the set, Joab's family,
even the lepers and the people that have sores, I guess they're supposed to be isolated, and
they can't fail, I guess.
I don't fucking know. Let's just kind of get through. Let's fucking continue.
Well,
Okay.
question in the comments, or a statement about discharges at semen, and I think in this case, no. Sometimes when they refer to discharge, they're like boils, pus.
No, if
Mucus.
there was
Some kind of sickness.
if there was
Sickness.
discharge and it hit the ground, they would have died.
Yeah, he would have been smitten.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
different.
Not
Yeah.
smitten,
But I think,
smoked.
yeah, because if you look at some of the Deuteronomic thing about leprosy and other discharges, that's a reference to a disease.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, well, let's continue.
so anyway, I continue. No, verse 30. So Joab and Abishai, his brother, killed Abner because he put their brother Ashbel to death in the battle of Gibeon.
So here's something weird. So the picture I have in the back right now, and also we have some weird sounds coming. It's not coming through. Okay, good. Sorry. So the picture we have in the back here, our thumbnail, that was really the best thing I could find about the. Actually, no, never mind. That's the killing of Ish-Bosheth. But anyways, yeah. There wasn't really a lot of art on this, which is kind of a bummer. And the art that there wouldn't really make for a good thumbnail.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm thinking that we should start like dressing up and being the characters for the
No.
thumbnail. No,
I refuse.
you refuse. You refuse to
I'm
put
not
on
gonna-
like a helmet and have like a sword and shit.
Hey man, maybe if like we got paid.
Maybe if we got paid.
Well, if I can get the stuff, the costumes.
That's not getting paid, man. You're
Yeah.
still asking us to get in the costumes. Gotta get paid.
Maybe if we got paid.
Maybe
we'd
if we
dress
got
up
Oh,
in
one of your
costumes.
books came in, by the way.
Oh, one of the books came in? Which one?
The paradox one.
Okay.
Oh, good.
So verse 31. Then David said to Joab and to all the people who were with him, tear your clothes, gird on sackcloth, and lament before Abner. And the king walked behind the bier. And they buried Abner in Hebron, and the king lifted up his voice and wept at the grave of Abner, and all the people wept. And the king chanted a lament to Abner and said, "Should Abner die as a fool dies? Your hands were not bound, your feet were nor were your feet put into fetters. As one falls before the wicked, you have fallen." And all the people wept again over him.
So this kind of sounds like David is all like, you didn't have to do this. You weren't pressured into this in any way. You just kind of did it just 'cause.
Yep.
That's what it sounds like to me.
No, it was God. God told David to do all those horrible things.
No, David didn't do any of that.
Yeah, this wasn't one of David's faults.
Oh, good.
He certainly had a number of faults. I mean, one of which thinking that he's a king, which is fault enough. Kings being the lowest form of humanity. But, and yes, David goes and kills this guy merely for bringing bad news in. So, he's already down on my book. But apparently David didn't want this guy killed. And this job murdering Abner was the dude that did it.
Yeah.
Okay, verse 35. Then all the people came to persuade David to eat bread while it was still day. But David vowed, saying, "May God do so to me, and more also, if I taste bread or anything else before the sun goes down." Generally, that's a bad thing to do, I think, in this spot of say, stuff. But I guess given that probably the time of day, it's probably not so bad. And all the people took note of it, and it pleased them, just as everything the king did pleased all the people.
Wow.
The king is great. He's amazing. Everything he does is perfect.
Yep.
Good thing they didn't ask me, because I would have said, anyone that thinks they're king has got rocks in their heads. But anyway, so all the people and all Israel understood that day that it had not been the will of the king to put Abner the son of Ner to death. And the king said to his servants, "Do you not know that a prince and a great man has fallen this day in Israel? And I am weak today, though anointed king, because the men of the sons of Zeruth are too difficult for me. May the Lord repay the evildoer according to his evil."
Wow. He's not weak because he's refused to eat. He's weak because these people are too difficult. Yeah. So I guess if you say this chapter is that Abner defects to David, but Joab still is pissed about the previous stuff of people killing people and that stabbing thingy that they were doing. And then David hears about it and says, "Hey, I didn't do it," and mourns and laments over it, and vows that he won't eat bread until the sun goes down. Yep.
Woo. So there are just a little thing that I noticed. There are two things I've ever seen Landon be passionate about. It's astronomy, I guess mathematics, I'll throw that in there too, and hating kings, hating monarchies.
Well, just liking the thought of monarchies.
Yeah.
People pretending to be appointed by God to rule.
Yeah.
You must be a huge fan of Hobbes.
Yeah. And another of that Southern Israelite idiot.
Yeah.
It's another one. And I'm sorry, the guys. If you're proud over that, right? You're already, but he's a flat heart, so who cares? Anyway, but yes, this thing is now. Remember, the Bible did say, Samuel did say, hey, if you want kings, they're going to do bad things to you, and they got Saul, and Saul did bad things, and now they've got David, and people are happy, but there's this covenant, but
I'd still like to point out that none of the things that Saul said would happen have happened yet. He's a really shitty prophet.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Although I really did like how he was able to see the ghost after not, for some reason.
Why
That
not?
was just a really weird story, but I love Samuel's ghost story. That was great.
Well,
I'm gonna
let's-
tell that around the campfire one day.
Yeah, so I guess it's biblical that this ghost summoning is real, and that would then I imagine somebody who is of that ilk believing would caution you folks in your demon summoning, because
Well,
Oh no,
it's
the
a
demon
good
summoning.
thing that they're not here.
Yeah.
yes, but on the other hand, are demons alive? I mean, I don't know. Are they?
I don't know if I don't think they'd count as alive.
Well, the demons are supposed to be fallen angels, right? Who
I mean,
side with Lucifer.
there are.
Is that true?
No, I don't think that is it?
Well, it's,
I think it depends on which tradition.
and there's like a number of them that are just straight up pagan gods.
Yeah, like it really depends on which tradition we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like some say that they're like fallen angels. Some say that they literally are these other gods that aren't that aren't fucking Yahweh. And then even other traditions say that they're human souls who were like tortured in hell and became demons.
And then there's your personal demons.
Oh yeah, your personal demons. Yeah, those are the worst. I hate my personal demons.
But of course, we have to differentiate demons from evil spirits from the Lord.
Yes. Apparently, those nuances are really, really deep and cut thick. And
Well, apparently I'm being scolded for getting the wine. So
yeah, I think red eye.
Oh, all right.
I have this Mercy glass here, and Casa Brown's Gat Crown Vineyard 2015 to drink after reading one heck of a chapter.
Yeah.
Because I would need it if I had read that. Anyways, let's finish off with chapter 4.
Make sure you guys drop a like if you're enjoying the stream.
Yes.
Okay, let's
Subscribe, click the bell, become a patron, yada.
All right.
And when Saul's son heard that Abner was dead in Hebron, his hands were feeble, and all the Israelites were troubled. And Saul's son had 2 men that were captains of the bands. The name of the one was Baanah, and the name of the other Rechab, the sons of Rimmon, a Beerothite, of the children of Benjamin, for Beeroth also was reckoned to Benjamin, and the Beerothites fled to Gittaim, and were sojourners there until this day. This day.
Yep.
And Jonathan, Saul's son, had a son that was lame of his feet. He's disabled.
Yes.
He was
Now
5 years old.
Hold on, before we get in. Actually, finish that. Finish.
Yeah,
that
you're saying, I want to point out, you do these names much better than I do.
Thanks. He was 5 years old when the tidings came of Saul and Jonathan out of Jezreel. And his nurse took him up and fled, and it came to pass that she made haste to flee, that he fell and became lame. And his name was Mephibosheth.
Yeah. So this interesting note here. I think this is. So I'm not sure what they're trying to say here. In this book, it says that this part is pre Deuteronomistic history. So it's from an older tradition, but I'm not so sure about that. Because if we take out this little portion from verse 4, that's a pretty long one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we take out verse 4 and then part of verse 2 and also verse 3. That would be, it would flow much better. It would go from they were sons of Rimmon, a Benjaminite from Beeroth. Now the sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, and then it keeps going. So it just flows better. This seems like it might actually be later.
Well, you might even be able to just pull the 4th thing, because if we read through 2, 3, and then 5. It goes, the name of the other, Rechab, the sons of Rimmon, the Beerothite of the children of Benjamin. For Beeroth was also reckoned to Benjamin, and the Beerothites fled unto Gittim, and were sojourners there until this day. And the sons of Rimmon, the Beerothite, and so on.
Yeah.
Right. Because it seems like Jonathan has nothing at all to do with any of this.
Yeah.
Anyways, the sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, Rechab and Baanah, went and came about the heat of the day to the noon of Ish-Bosheth, who lay on a bed at noon. Who doesn't? And they came.
We know you do.
Yeah, I do.
Fucking takes some forever to show up here.
I show up like 30 minutes before we go on, usually.
Lazy, bad work ethic.
I don't get paid. And they came thither into the midst of the house, as though they would have fetched wheat. And they smote him under the 5th rib, again. And Rechab and Baanah, his brother, escaped.
Oh, is that ribs cutting from the bottom or from the top?
Under.
Yeah, under. They just.
Oh,
stabbed
okay,
them.
under. So okay,
Mm.
just and then, does it say which side? Too,
No.
or
Just the 5th rib.
okay.
Which,
Basil 1991. Thanks for subbing. Oh, my mic's not on.
Oh yeah, so
No.
Chris is just talking to nothing. I'm not even seeing someone pop up. What's the name?
Basil 1991. Thanks for abandoning God.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much for becoming a patron, and I will toast you. There you go.
Abandoning God
Good.
is a subscriber, not patron.
Oh, as a subscriber. Okay, well, I'll toast you as a
Hey,
subscriber.
yeah,
Oh,
there you go. 2 toasts for one
there
side.
you go. Now you get to take 2 drinks. Anyways. For when they came into the house, he lay on his bed in his bedchamber, and they smote him, and slew him,
Yeah,
and beheaded him, and took
What?
his head and gat them away through the plain all night.
So
Wait,
yeah,
wait,
that.
wait. Run that by again.
Well, they smote him, and they slew him, and they beheaded him.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Not necessarily all at the same time. And they brought the head of Ish-Bosheth unto David to Hebron, and said to the king, Behold!
Behold.
Behold.
The head of Ish-Bosheth, the son of Saul thine enemy, which sought thy life. And the Lord hath avenged my lord of the king this day of Saul and of his seed. And David answered Rechab and Baanah his brother, the sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, and said unto them, As the Lord liveth, who hath redeemed my soul out of all adversity, when one told me, saying, Behold!
Behold.
Saul is dead. Thinking to have brought good tidings, I took hold of him and slew him in Ziklag, who thought that I would have given him a reward for his tidings. How much more, when wicked men have slain a righteous person in his own house upon his bed? Shall I not therefore now require his blood of your hand, and take you away from the earth? And David commanded his young men, and they slew them, and cut off their hands and their feet, and hanged them over the pool in Hebron. But they took the head of Ish-Bosheth and buried it in the sepulchre of Abner in Hebron. And that's the end of chapter 4.
So there's a lot of shit just happened there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What in particular? Let's recap.
Okay, so basically, Ish-Bosheth is killed by these 2 dudes. They're just,
Because they think David will reward them.
yeah, and what's really interesting is that the fact that they behead him and bring his head to David.
Yeah.
If we remember properly, David beheaded Goliath.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a callback to that, I'm guessing, or maybe the since the Goliath story was later edition, that would have been the Goliath story would have been a what's the word I'm looking for? Foreshadowing.
Now, is David
that.
still carrying around Goliath's sword? Because he picked it up at that temple.
Right. I don't think
I
he's
suspect
carrying-
it's part of the royal retribute. You know.
Maybe they like stuck it up on one of those.
Blacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David's sword bearer drags it along. for
Yeah.
ceremony.
Poor
purposes.
sword bearer.
Yeah. Well, this 2 Samuel, it's 24 chapters long,
Is it? I have no idea.
I think. Chapter 23, chapter 24. Yeah, it's 24 chapters long. We're probably going to finish this one in like 4 weeks, right? 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, it shouldn't take very long.
Yeah. So we're getting close to the halfway point in the prophets.
Yeah.
After 2 Kings, that will be 2 Kings is the dividing point between the earlier and the latter prophets.
Yeah, and we're the only people who are excited about how far we've made it in the Bible.
Yeah, and the one thing,
But we will be doing reviews,
yeah.
book reviews.
So I want to say in advance that I'm going to apologize for when we reach First Chronicles. Because First Chronicles, here I'm holding currently the first 9 chapters. They span about 4 separate pages, so like 8 pages in total. This is a genealogy.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So there are 9 chapters of just genealogy. That's it.
I would recommend
We're gonna do
doing
it all.
one marathon.
Yeah, we're gonna do all in one episode, and we're gonna want to hang ourselves by the end of it.
We can make drinking songs based on
And you could bring in various people to even do half chapters. I mean, you could have a whole tag team of.
I'm not even sure what we're gonna do for that one. We gotta think of something interesting for that
Here,
one.
we can get Landon, and we can get all the patrons, and we can get, like, Aaron, we could get Logic, we could get Godless Engineer.
We can get a lot of people.
could
Godless
get-
Engineer is coming on not next week, but the week after.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we could just
But
get
the pro-
everyone.
I mean, you could do the again, you'd have to have somebody who understands, that pronounces the stuff better.
Right. Yeah.
Still,
No, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and it's like a whole reintroduction to everything. So it's a lot. It's just a big ass genealogy.
Hey, remember all that stuff you read? Hey, if you didn't,
Here it is.
here it is.
Just to
Again.
refresh your memory,
In case you forgot.
the importance.
Remember how traumatized you were the first time?
Yeah, here's another
Here's
time.
a concentrated version of trauma.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and we're gonna have to get through it because that's the nature of the show. We're just gonna have to read it.
yeah.
These are the worst chapters in the Bible.
Yes, they are. The absolute worst. Because it's 9 straight chapters of genealogy.
Help.
Hashtag holy book. Hashtag bring
And-
the Bible.
And why do they break it up into 9 chapters?
No, I
I mean-
don't. Because they break it up into different,
Yeah,
in different like people, different different eras, I guess.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
like it looks like in First Chronicles chapter 1, it covers like
Adam to Abraham, and then
yeah,
Abraham to somebody else, and
and then chapter 2 starts with the 13 tribes, and then chapter 3 starts with David's sons, and so on, and stuff we haven't covered yet.
yeah. So ridiculous. We're gonna get to that, and I'm just gonna apologize in advance. It's gonna suck that day.
Yeah,
It's going to be insanity, but not from the book.
Yeah. It's really just us dissenting into madness.
Yes.
yeah. Oh, speaking of dissenting into madness, if you'd like us to make more videos, you can help us out by buying stuff off of our wish list on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our Amazon wish list. Actually, the Nightbot just popped it up.
Yeah.
Ah, thanks, Nightbot.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nightbot.
Yeah.
You're a cool
And,
guy.
and of course, you could get like this cool T-shirt.
Behold, yeah, it's a great
Yeah.
shirt. We have a lot of books on there that will help us. It's exclusively books. A lot of stuff that's going to help us with research.
Yeah.
Just lots of great resources that we have found that is going to add to our library and to our knowledge. And
we
we'll
may construct an actual library, and then we can continue armchair philosophy. 'Cause I'm
and
sick
now
of-
we don't need a fake.
Yeah,
fucking
I was thinking
bookcase.
it'd be like over there or
Yeah.
something.
Look, if we can just buy a location and have just like hundreds of halls of books.
already have
That'd
like
be-
30 bookshelves at the house, Ruben. We
Yeah.
just need to move them in one place, call it the library, and get it over with.
Yeah, we should do that,
We
honestly.
should start a
Yeah.
private library.
Well, we have enough books here at our place, so yeah. All
And I
right.
could always bring mine over. Ruben can bring his over.
Oh dear, he has enough too.
I have enough books.
He leaves enough here.
I have a lot of books, and now not enough space to hold them.
All right. Well, maybe shelving's a good idea here.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, if the
Seriously, they're just laying around at this point.
if the end of the world happens, should claim the UWM library. It seems like
A good bunker.
a good location.
Seems like a great location, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, they're not.
Yeah,
getting
pretty good. The map room. That would be.
Yeah. We'll just be like, look, you guys thinking of traveling? You're gonna need our help, which means we're gonna need a cut.
Because we got the maps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dora the Explorer style.
And I think Landon would really like to go into that map room.
Definitely. I mean, the British Museum has a nice map room too, and Vatican has a map room if you can get to it. But
Go
is
on
much
the
more
off
accessible.
season, Landon, and you'll be able to see it.
All right. Well, either way, that was those were all the chapters today. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us. For the people who stuck around.
thank you.
Yeah. And
Sorry for butchering the names, but
I
that's what it
mean, some of these names are ridiculous, so I don't blame you in the slightest.
Yeah. But to all of our lovely and loyal followers who worship us, we will return to give you divine wisdom next week.
Yes. And maybe we can get out some content. I'm not sure. Some real
All right.
content.
Well, we'll see you next Sunday.
Same
Well, anyways-
bat time, same bat channel.
Okay.
Yeah,
anyways,
goodbye.
we will see you next Sunday.